All right, so moving on. Few hours back we spoke about how strengthening your chi can be one of the factor how you can fasten your manifestation. Well, there's another technique, and that's called letting it go. I really can't emphasize enough how letting go can be one of those exponential fast tracking catalyst, if you will. So let me tell you one incident that happened, way back. Now this is way back in 2008. Okay. Uh, in fact, towards the now you would all remember, right? 2008 is when the recession happened, but this is towards the earlier part of 2008. Now, why way back in India when this guy who used to always talk to me and seek guidance, he was going through an emotional turmoil in his life, a lot of issues on his family front, and he had a good amount of money saved back from his earnings, and he wanted to invest this. He had sold off a bunch of his ancestral property and he had a good amount of money which he wanted to invest in the stock market. So this guy, just to give you a context, for reference, it's a quarter of a million, yeah, from USD. Now this guy invests his money and he would monitor his portfolio on a daily basis. He would swap the underperforming, he would day trade, he would swing trade, god knows all the things. But one thing he did was he selected his stocks very carefully, very very carefully. He's good in reading the analytics, so he picked his stock very carefully. He was very confident that it would go. But 2 to 3 months or so, nothing happened. He started getting depressed, frustrated, because this was a huge amount of money. And soon after, his family members started, blaming him for making the wrong decisions and whatnot. And that's when he came to me and I told him, just let it go. And then I obviously took him through some visualization meditation practices. I've told him to visualize that it's all okay, and there were other some ritualistic components that were involved, but for the sake of simplicity we'll keep the rituals out of this. So he went through another 15-20 minutes of daily visualization basis what I had instructed. And then it so happens that he had to attend a conference to another part of the country, and he was away for a good 4 to 5 days. During that 4 to 5 days, the routine was such that he had to get up at 9. He had to attend this workshop at 9. He would get free by evening 6, and then there were meetings with his superiors. So the entire day used to go, and he never got even a second to monitor his portfolio. This went on for a good 4 to 5 days, and he obviously, you can say, he kind of forgot because he was so busy in his entire new routine. And then he comes back to his base, his home location, and guess what? He remembers everything. Oh, I have a good chunk, right, stacked away in the market. Let me see what happens. Guess what happens? His portfolio, rose up to a whopping 31% in the matter of that 1 week, where he was completely disconnected from his thoughts or outcomes that he wanted from the market. So the point of the story, what he learned and what I want to propagate with you guys is, do your work, forget about the results. This is also popularly mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita. And there's also another story that's reminded. So these youngsters, they rent out this yacht at the start of their vacation, and there was some weather forecast as to there's going to be a little rough weather. So the captain, the sailor of this small yacht, he, before the voyage, it was supposed to be a 3 to 4 days overnight kind of a deal. So he starts praying before the yacht, before the journey, before the voyage. And these guys find it very amusing. They say, "Why are you praying?" He said, "Before every such voyage, I usually pray, and more so this is, there's some news that there's going to be some rough weather, so I don't know, so it's better to pray." And the kids laugh about it, and then finally they set a sail and everything goes well. But towards the third night, things go south. It really starts getting rough. The sea is rough, it's all stormy. The sea water is entering the boat, and right now everybody shit scared. At this point, at this point, the youngsters are freaking out. In fact, they start praying, and this guy, the sailor, the captain, is laser sharp focus on dodging the huge waves, and he's trying to shorten a strip and take the ship to a low, like a sober wave, like where there's no rough sea anymore. He's trying to steer the ship into that direction, a safe zone, if you will. At this point, the youngsters are like, those kids, they walk up to the captain and say, "Hey, why the hell are you not praying now? You should be praying now, right?" So he says, "I pray when things are at ease, but when things go uneasy, I focus on my task, my karma." So that's how it goes, You need not visualize and manifest and put all those efforts when you're supposed to be doing the act. And when you have your spare time, when you are free from your acts, that's when you visualize. So just practice letting go. That's as simple as I can put it. Let it go. That somehow eases your conscious mind, it puts it at rest, and does not disturbs the subconscious mind or the supraconscious mind. That's when the real magic happens. And then, of course, when you smear it with some rituals and high intensity chi meditation, things really fast track.